Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here, and this is by far the earliest we've ever shot an episode.
Yeah.
But we just finished off the new Bloodstained Curse of the Moon game, and we want to share our thoughts with you.
And to celebrate, I got us some good old-fashioned McDonald's breakfast.
Yum yum.
Got us the number 17 Founders Breakfast Stout.
Wowzers, alright, well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you know what I always say, it's 9 o'clock somewhere.
Alright, well, here we go. A game review and a beer review. Sit back, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and enjoy this episode of Gaming Off the Grid. Alright, so we just finished Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, and we're getting ready to eat some breakfast here. What'd you think of the game?
Oh, I was very surprised. This game blew my mind. I was expecting to like it, but oh man, I love it. I just want to play it.
I totally agree. You know, I had set the bar really high because the NES Castlevania time frame is one of my favorite time frames of that game. I actually prefer 1, 3, and 4 to Symphony of the Night, which, you know, a lot of people might not, but it's just more of when I grew up and what I really liked before they introduced the Metroidvania style. I was blown away. I think they did such a great job. This is an 8-bit Castlevania style game, and they got developer Koji Igarashi on the scene, who was the main developer on
Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
And that's super sweet.
Yeah, and so I think the spirit of Castlevania is kind of in this
The
guy's soul.
heart and soul is, you can tell it's a Castlevania game, even though it's not technically name brand.
Yeah, they don't have the namesake, but anybody who knows anything about the series, if they play this, they will not be let down. What platforms is this available?
Oh, it's available on PS4, Switch, PC, 3DS, and it's not quite out yet on the Xbox One. There's some difficulties with that, but it is coming out.
Perfect. Good deal. So this whole thing started as a Kickstarter project, right?
Yeah, it's the highest grossing game on Kickstarter. They blew records. I think it was like $5.5 million.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It just kind of speaks to how Konami doesn't understand what its fans want. They frustrate me because two of my favorite game series ever is Castlevania and the Metal Gear Solid series, and they're not doing a good job of keeping those names alive. So kudos to Koji Igarashi for doing this project and trying to keep the spirit of Castlevania going. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is the baseline of this project?
Yeah, that's like the baby project, and this is just an add-on because they reached a stretch goal in the Kickstarter project.
So they reach so much money and they do like an extra thing, and then we get this mini game per se, right?
Yeah.
But it's not really a mini game.
No, this game took us about 6 hours to beat. I was expecting, they said mini game, so I was expecting like 1-2 hours max.
Well, and I think I read somewhere, maybe I didn't, I don't know, that there were like 4 levels. There were 8.
Yeah.
And there were boss battles at the end of each one. We played it on the harder difficulty, so we were really dealing with managing our lives and all that stuff. We didn't have, I think if you play on casual, you get infinite lives.
Yeah. So then you can fly through it, but we were playing veteran, which is like old school way, and we'd run out of lives and we'd have to start the entire level over, and it was like,
Yeah, it was definitely tough, but Ritual of the Night, you know, I really want to play it, but I think it's going to be hard for me to like that game more than the experience we had with this. It was absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of Castlevania 3, I think this game is right down the heart of how that game played. There's different playable characters. It, you know, obviously it has a little bit of a Castlevania 1 feel too, just because of the spirit of the game, maybe some Rondo of Blood. But you mentioned Castlevania 4.
Yeah, it has that Castlevania 4 feel a little bit, but that's like a 16-bit game. And this is technically an 8-bit game.
Yeah, well, I think when you mentioned that, I hadn't really thought of that, and I don't think this game would run in the way it is on the NES. I think it is a little bit more going on than the NES could handle.
I'd probably say it's like a 9.5 or 10.
The backgrounds, the textures are fantastic. It looks really good, and I think anybody would agree if they get their hands on this game. So let's discuss a little bit our time with the game. What's kind of the plot, the layout? How did the playthrough go?
Well, you start off as the main character, and his name is Zangetsu, and he's on like a journey on a fateful night. He comes across like allies throughout the game, and you can recruit them and play with other people, and that's so sweet.
He's a pretty balanced character.
Yeah.
He can't run the fastest, jump the highest. He doesn't have the most rangy attack, but he's pretty good at everything. He's got a pretty decent-sized life bar.
Yeah.
The second character you unlock, Miriam is her name. She was freaking awesome.
She's my favorite character. She's fast, she's rangy, she can jump higher, Her health's a little bit lower than Zangetsu, but she's awesome.
And she introduced the low slide.
Oh, the low slide, that thing is sweet. You
Yeah.
can get under small places and...
Yeah, and so that was kind of the point where, you know, everything, the dots started connecting for us. Like, okay, this low slide, we have to have her to get into certain areas. So you want to conserve certain characters, because if you come to an area or a forking path that you can't get into without that technique, and she's dead or whatever, that's not good.
Yeah, then you gotta take the back roads and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
sucks.
So the third character we unlock is Alfred the Alchemist. What'd you think of him?
Oh man, when we first unlocked him, I was like, this guy sucks. He's slow, his base attack is poor, and he's just like an old grandpa. He can barely jump, his health bar
Yeah,
sucks.
and he's got a wand that is literally like 6 inches long, and he would kill someone like this.
Yeah, he's so slow.
Oh, it's brutal. He's an alchemist.
Yeah.
He's got some really, really cool magical attacks. And you can use those and then switch to another character, and they will stay on the screen.
Yeah.
He helped us get through many of boss battles and hard parts of levels.
Well, at first we didn't want to use him at all, but then we were like, okay, we need to use him.
Yeah.
I think that's sweet about this game is they make you use all 4 characters.
Yeah. Well, the last character, Gebel. I think Miriam was your gal. This guy's my guy.
Yeah.
Really, really like this character. We were calling him Bats. He's really chill. He plays most of the game with his arms crossed.
Yeah.
His attack, he just opens his cape up and 3 bats fly out.
Yeah, and it's ranged and it's like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a 45-degree spread attack. It doesn't have the most depth, but it's a quick attack. We used it a lot for flying enemies.
Oh, and then like stuff that would come down, we just go boom.
Yeah, because you don't need to be as precise because it's got that spread. You started using him a lot towards the end of the game in boss battles. You'd get close to...
Yeah, like the boss would be like on the ledge and I'd get under him and just...
Yep.
Because he's really fast.
Yep, and so we used that a lot. And then my favorite thing that happened when we were playing this game, we were in a level, had a lot of platforming going on. There were platforms ascending and descending. There was also these fairies flying through the screen. And you had a really poor jump, which jumps are pretty tough in this game, and you fell, and I'm pretty sure you were either off the screen or really close to it, and all of a sudden you switched to bats and flew out of it, because his special attack is being able to morph into a bat.
Yeah, and
fly.
he can fly, so I saved myself, and I was like, what just happened?
I think it was a lucky play, but nonetheless, I was the happiest I'd ever been in my life, I think. It was really awesome. You rose from the dead, because you were a goner.
I was off the screen.
So that was awesome. I think he's probably one of the most versatile characters because of that flying. All these special attacks we're talking about could only be used in a limited sense. I think our weapon points maxed out at 40. We might have missed something
we might
along
have
the way.
missed some power-ups or something. I think you start at like 20 or something weapon points.
Yeah.
But you want to have that weapon points thing full, because if you're at 0, it's hard to.
Yeah,
it's
so
hard to
I
move
think
on.
there's like different like collectibles, like a vase or an urn or something that has that gives you those weapon points, and every attack bleeds that down, and so you want to conserve it, because if you go into a boss battle with no weapon points,
Yeah, you're screwed.
You're done for. To wrap this video up, what would you score it? Review score.
I think overall I would give it about a 4.75.
Okay.
Which is a really good score.
Yeah, I loved the game. What got you to that point?
Well, the graphics are incredible. The sound's incredible.
The music is
the
so
music's
cool.
so sweet. The replay value is sweet. Like, I want to play it. We beat it, but I want to play it again.
Well, not to spoil anything, but there is a little bit of a plot type twist towards the end of the game that does encourage another playthrough, and we're going to. And then there's another line underneath of question marks underneath that next playthrough, so it makes me wonder, is there another one? So
Yeah,
they play through 3 times. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
and you got the characters unlocked at that point, so we don't want to give too much away because you really need to play this game, but that's a cool part.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the game that made you not give it a 5 out of 5?
Yeah, the controls, that's where it kind of lacked. I mean, they were still really good, but the jumping was really irritating. That's like my only problem with this game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The jumping in all of the Castlevania games on NES were like this.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't know the best way to explain it, but you can't like control your character like once they're in the air.
Yeah, it sucks.
And you're kind of locked in, and it's weird because I love how they captured the essence of those games, but that's one thing I kind of wish they would have tweaked a little bit
better.
Yeah, because it definitely was never perfect. But it is what it is. It definitely, if you know what we're talking about from how jumping was in Castlevania 1 and 3, that's how it controls. Our opinion, full endorsement from the Gaming Off the Grid channel.
Yeah, highly recommended.
One of my favorite games I've played this year. I think
Yeah,
you would probably
I would agree.
It was $9.99. You mentioned all the platforms it was on. There's no excuse to not play this. If you're a fan of any of the early day Konami stuff, and more so Castlevania, this game captures the spirit and the essence of this game, hands down. They do a great job. The aesthetic and the feel of Castlevania is alive and well. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, a prequel to the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night project, and we could not be more impressed. Just to let everybody know, we do not get free review codes. We get no kickback on anything yet. The only reason we are doing this episode is because we want you to play the game. Hopefully you guys found some value in that. What do we think of our breakfast?
Oh, it's very good. It's really heavy. There's a lot of flavor. There's like I think it's like a double chocolate
Oatmeal stout. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's really good.
Perfect for breakfast.
It's a great way to start my day.
I wasn't planning on you bringing beer over this early, but then you kind of were like, well, we do beer reviews too, so okay, yep, here we go. It is a really good stout. It's by Founders. I think one of our most recent episodes, we did another Founders beer. They never disappoint.
No, Founders is such a good brewery.
Yeah, they just deliver every single time. We appreciate you guys watching this episode of Gaming Off the Grid. Get out and get your hands on this game. It's a digital download only, which kind of stinks. Maybe eventually, if it does well enough, we'll get a physical release.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I think fan support of projects like this will only drive them further in the future. The amount of money they raise, I mean, our money as consumers, I would much rather guide people to spending their money on something like this and going out and buying the latest Call of Duty game or something like that. You're going to enjoy this a lot more. So Castlevania fans, unite and let's make this thing successful because it was a fantastic experience. Keep gaming, keep drinking, and thanks for tuning into this episode of Gaming Off the Grid.
Well, you know what I always say, it's 9 o'clock somewhere.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard you say that, but you're probably right. So what do you got there?
Well, I brought...
I think you should have the bag facing that because it looks like a mouse. Oh, it's true. We got Fuckhead out there mowing his grass. Yeah.